or I am excited about today's Super Hockey Mom Convo because it is a rare topic, something that we don't really talk about, and I would explain that in a minute. So again, my name is Detola Amore, and I'm the founder of Super Hockey Mom, an organization that is dedicated to helping Christian moms who are busy with life find their purpose and help them to maximize their time so that they can manifest their God-given dreams. I'm passionate about women, I'm passionate about girls, and I'm passionate about helping women, live in their calling and actually begin to manifest some of the big dreams or all of the big dreams that God has given them. And some of the things we do in Super Hockey Mom is we share, tips, strategies with women on how to maximize their time, how to find time within the little time that they have to do what God has called them to do, even in the midst of every other role that they have to play. And today we have with us one of, the members of our academy, one of the ladies who is, slaying, as we like to call it. She's manifesting her God-given dreams, or she's in the process of manifesting her God-given dreams. And today she's going to be sharing more about one of her dreams with us and her journey, into manifesting this dream and, a lot more about it. And for those of you who got my email or who are in the group, you would have seen that I mentioned that we're talking about the boy child. It's amazing how, like I said, I'm passionate about women. A lot of women are passionate about women. A lot of men are passionate about the girl child, about women. But then it seems that no one is really talking to the boys. No one is really talking to the men. And one day we expect these girls that we have trained, to get married. But who are they going to get married to? Are they going to get married to, a lazy bum who has not had any training? And that's why I'm really excited about what Bukola, our guest speaker, does. I'm so excited about what she does. And I'm glad that she's here. I'm honored that she's here to share some of, that dream with us. So, hello and welcome to the Super Hockey Moms Convo, Bukola.
Yeah, thank
How
you
are
very
you?
much, Bukola. I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for sharing your platform with me this morning. I'm really, really excited and I'm honored. Thank you so very much, Bukola.
You are welcome. So, can you please go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself, your family, and just tell us a bit about you.
Okay, yeah. My name is Bukola Jolibo. I'm married. I've been married for about 15 years now, and I'm blessed with two amazing boys who are now teenagers, 13 and 14. And yes, I'm also the founder of Joshua's Army, an organization God has established through me to help the teenage boy or help boys find their purpose in life, live their dreams, and also walk their lives to achieving their goals, not just living like every other boy there on the street, but living a purposeful life and ensuring that from a very young age they walk in their God-given dream. They understand what dreams are, they understand what visions are, and they pursue this from a very young age. And in Joshua's Army as well, where I also help fathers and sons, mend the gap of their relationship, become friends, quote and unquote. We'll explain what that means later on. But yes, this is what this is what I am about and what Joshua's Army is about in a very nutshell.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. But I want you to tell us a bit more about, Joshua's Army, the vision, and what you really, tell us a bit more about what Joshua's Army is about. Yeah.
Yeah, Joshua's Army is an organization, like I said earlier on, that God has established through me, and we're focused on raising boys, raising real men to fulfill their purpose and walk in destiny. We provide practical resources and tips in helping these boys, walk through life in a purposeful way, not just like every other man out there. I developed. How did I come about Joshua's Army? Yeah. I think from a very tender age, I've just had this passion for the male gender. I love boys. I've got two brothers, but I don't know if that is why I really love boys. But amazingly, I say to people that I didn't have a bridal shower because I didn't have so many girlfriends to attend my bridal shower, so I didn't have that. So I just love boys, and it hurts me so much when I see boys, living just living life as it comes. It hurts me when I ask a man, "What is your purpose in life?" and they'll be like, or when a man is getting married, you do not have a vision for the family, for this woman you're bringing into your home, and of course tentatively the children you're bringing into your home. And I think that's where God began to nurture me for Joshua's Army. As I grew up, I rarely see women on the streets or on the road walking on the street. I see men. My focus is on men, and when I see them, what I'm thinking about is, why has this guy gotten up this morning? What is he up to this morning? And I say that as young as my boys are, that's one question I never forget to ask them every morning. And when I tell friends I ask my boys this question, they'll be like, but they're young. And I said, well, it's okay if they don't have an answer to give me now, but it's not okay if they don't have an answer to give me tomorrow based on the fact that I've asked them that question today. So yeah, that's what where the passion started from, ensuring that boys and men live a life of purpose. Detola said a few minutes ago that there are too many organizations focusing on the girl child, having the girl child become this, having the girl child become that, and then women are doing a lot of things out there. But what are these men doing? What is the focus on the male child? God had a purpose. It's not coincidental that God created man first, and after creating man, he said, take, nurture, and have dominion. How are men nurturing these things that God has given unto them? How are they taking dominion? What is the meaning of dominion in the context of what God has given to men in life? So that's where my passion lies, and that's what Joshua's Army does. Basically working with men, working with the teenage boys to walk in dominion the way God expects us to.
Okay. Wow, thank you so much. That is, oops, 1 second, hold on. Can you still see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Right, yes, thank you for that breakdown on what Joshua's Army is about. And it is exciting. Like I said, I don't know a lot of people who are doing this. I mean, especially women who are trying to help the male child. So this drives me to my next question. A lot of people, I mean, it's agreed. We all know that a lot of people focus on the girl child. And it makes me wonder, okay, so why are we overlooking the boys? Why are the boys being overlooked? What is it that we think, or how do I put it? Why are we overlooking the boys and thinking that, they don't need help? It's only girls that need help. I'm trying to understand. I don't know if in your experience, God has dropped something, to review. Because I'm sure maybe when God even gave you the idea, like, no, Lord, why me? So what is it about men that is special that we need to nurture and not ignore? And why do you think men and boys have been ignored?
Well, I think over time, we growing up as girls, as women, not just in the African culture, all across the world, because even when you speak to people from other backgrounds, we kind of have, maybe not as intense as some areas, but we kind of have the same struggles. And for the female child, I'll talk from a Christian perspective because we're Christian moms and Christian women here. The Bible, everybody talks about the Proverbs 31 woman. Everybody talks about the Shunammite woman. Everybody talks about Abigail. Everybody talks about, even in the era of David committed with Bathsheba, we all focus on that. So there's so much expectations from the woman in the area of nurturing the home, in the area of praying for the man, in the area of doing everything around the home. But over time, like I said, when God was beginning to open my eyes to Joshua's Army, and I kind of tend to ask some questions. The Proverbs 31 woman, the husband sits at the gate. The husband had a vision of sitting at the gate. That is why whatever the woman did could support him, or whatever the woman does could support him to sit at the gate. And then he also had a part he plays in the home. This morning I was reading one of my devotionals, the Shunammite, about the Shunammite woman, in a book devotional one of my friends, Shola Adeshekin, wrote. And the she was talking about the Shunammite woman there. And there she mentioned that this woman said to her husband, let's make a room for the prophet to come in and, where the prophet could rest whenever he travels through Biggleswade, for instance, where I live. And, going down what she wrote, she said something that really struck me. The husband had a career as well. The husband had something doing, and then he empowered the woman. These days, how many of our men are empowering the woman? Instead of men empowering women, we're kind of into a competition. And that's unconsciously, that's the way we're raising our boys. Unconscious. A few weeks ago, my son had an issue with a girl in school, and then from there, another girl. He became friends with another girl, and when we were talking about it, he said, "Mom, you know what? I don't want to become so close to XYZ girl now because this other girl has disappointed me." And I felt he was talking from the area of being too close because I don't trust women. But he said something that struck me, Mom. If I become this close to this girl now, I'm using her to heal my hurt. And I was like, wow, women are not meant to be used.
Yeah.
That's one thing the boy just established for me. And I said, wow, well done. And then we began to talk about it. But my point here, why I brought up the story is, what is the place of a woman? What are we teaching our women that we're not teaching our men? In as much as we're training these girls to be godly wives, we're training these women to be godly mothers. How are we training our men? I don't want a situation whereby I wake up in the morning as my daughter-in-law wakes up in the morning to take the children to church, and the man can say, you know what, I am tired. You guys can go ahead. No, that is one of the errors of Prophet Eli. A few weeks ago, I put it on Facebook. What is the error of Prophet Eli? And somebody actually answered me. A pastor answered me and said, well, I don't think Prophet Eli had any error, but his wife was absent. We never heard about Mrs. Eli. And I'm like, really? And that's what we're training our children. That's what we're teaching our boys. The woman is responsible for it. All you need to do is work and bring in the money. But no, God gave the garden to the man. He said, take, nurture, and have dominion. How are we teaching our children to nurture? A lot of the times our men are focused on that dominion. And because they focus on the dominion, they're misinterpreting what that dominion even means. When Adam had dominion over the lions, over those things, he nurtured them, he played with them, he connected with them, and that's why he could name them. That today we're still calling those animals by those names. He had, what are you naming your family? How have you had dominion? And that's why that's where my passion comes from. That's what in the nearest future I want to see our boys grow into men who would nurture and have dominion. I don't know if that has answered your question. I'm so passionate about this that sometimes I just carry on and on and on. But Detola, I hope I have answered your question in that.
Yes. In fact, you have over answered, and I can see your passion. I can feel your passion, and I am glad that God gave you this mandate and that you are running with it. But I'm sure that there was a time when God gave you God gave you the vision, or God gave you the dream. But, you probably thought, who am I? So what I want to ask you is, have you ever been worried about people thinking, okay, here comes another woman, coming to tell men what to do? Have you ever worried about that? Have you encountered that? And what have you done to manage that situation? Because clearly, this is something God has given you. You might have tried to run away from it. Well, so how have you dealt with, worrying about what people would say about following your passion or living in purpose?
Thank you very much for that, Itola. Yes, very, very clearly. A lot of people have said a lot of things, even women. You'd expect men to be the ones saying that. Men have, but I wasn't quite surprised when men come up with their questions. But yes, women have as well. And what have I done? First of all, what I did was, when these visions were coming, I was writing them down. I had them written down.
Nice.
Everything God tells me part time, every
Yes.
day, every step of the way as I go, I have them written down, because when I have them written down in black and white, one, I do not forget. Two,
Yeah.
I know where it has come from, so I don't have an excuse to want to run away from it. Another thing I have done in line with what God has asked me to do is, one, I never fail to pray about the vision, because in as much as I know it's kind of, some say it's unique, it's different from what most women are doing, and I know that the devil understands and knows the place of man, a man in the society and in the home. So it's a major battlefront with the devil. So I never cease to pray about it. I never cease to take it back to God, particularly when I'm confused and I don't know what to do. Another thing I have done is I have surrounded myself with like-minded people of like minds, people who have visions they're pursuing, people who have dreams they're going for, even though what we do is not similar. And I've asked for help, and that's in the process of surrounding myself and asking for help. I'm sure that's where I met the Super Working Mom group, and then I met the Super Working Mom Academy, the mastermind, and all that we do in there. So yes, I have consciously surrounded myself with people who could help me. And then when I have this question, when these questions come, sometimes I cannot answer them myself. Even though I have written this down, I take them back to my friends and I say, see this question that I've been asked. And they go, Buki, this is what you said. This is, and then I take the answer from this woman. So I kind of, I've surrounded myself with women who have got purpose, who have got visions, and are full of energy, and then with that energy, I want to say they kind of push me. So yes, that's one thing I have done around questions.
Amazing. And I like how you said that you've written it down, because when you write something down, it's like how do I put it? It's like a contract with yourself. As you hear God and you write it down, even if you have doubts tomorrow and you go back to what you've written, you're like, man, I wrote this down. I heard clearly. But if you don't write it down, you can talk yourself out of it and say, nah, maybe I came up. But as God is telling you and you're writing it down, you can't run away from that. You have a reference point to go back to. So I'm really glad you brought up that point. And how, again, you pray, you take it back to the owner of the vision. You don't just decide to do it by yourself, because, again, it wasn't God. I'm sure if it was left to you, you'd be like, let me just fight. I know, right? You wouldn't be doing this if it was left to you alone. But because the giver of dreams, the giver of visions, implanted this in you, anytime there's a trouble, you always have to go back to him. So I love those 2 points that you raised. Amazing. Okay. So now, can you give us, a common general example of issues you've seen with, fathers and boys and teenage boys, and how has your support helped these fathers and boys to go through that challenging situation or issue that they might be going through?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question, Ditola. Well, I'd say that two common issues with fathers and their teenage boys, particularly, is the issue of power, which some of us will call ego, and then the issue of expectations. One major error parents leave is and I see this more in fathers, because we women, we have the patience of listening and processing what we hear and talking through it. But one major error I've seen fathers leave is the expectations of their teenage boys. A lot of fathers tend to expect their teenage boys to live right their own errors. I don't know if that makes sense. Their own errors, they want to see that errors being corrected in the life of these boys, forgetting that these boys have got their own life, they've got their own purpose, they've got their own dreams, they've got their own blueprints from God, and yours is yours, mine is mine. And so that is one error. And then so that causes a lot of conflicts when dad wants me to be an expert in this area, not necessarily in academics or anything, but in a particular area that maybe dad has seen that he has failed in. And then you're not coming out to communicate that to your child. And one thing I always say to fathers, my husband inclusive, is communicate your expectations. Do not just assume this is my expectation and this child should know. If your expectation is that your child should get out of bed and be the one to wake everybody up in the morning, communicate this and give steps on how you think this boy should go about it. It is not enough for the child to know that dad wants me to do this, but it's more than enough for you to let the child know what you expect of the child, number one, how this child can get to that point, number two, and separate yourself from this child. We always talk about Pastor Nick and my pastor always says we don't call it terrible things, terrible twos. We call it terrific twos. Basically from the age of 2. That's why we tend to say they're terrible twos. They are detaching. They are kind of realizing they're human beings by themselves. And so, if a 2-year-old can know that I am a human being and this is what, never mind, your flower is fabulous. Yeah. So if a 2-year-old can know that, then a 13-year-old boy, a 16-year-old boy definitely knows that. And so I think one major thing I have tried to communicate to fathers in my work with them and their boys is that one, they should be, how we could understand that this boy is not you. This boy will definitely and most likely not repeat the errors you made if you let him walk in the line of what God has mapped out for his life. And number 3, it is, I would stress, in as much as, yes, the mothers are praying for their children, it is the sole responsibility of a father to pray for their child. So if you have your expectations, communicate it and pray endlessly for your child. I respect so much Abraham in the Bible because of the way he prayed, because of the things he set on ground for his children, including us. And that's one of the things we're enjoying today. Every father should set expectations. If you set your expectations, communicate it and pray for your child. And again, I'll say lastly that your child is not in any part also with you. If you see your child is a male like yourself, your son is a boy and a man like yourself. So give responsibilities. When you see that this child wants to have power or have a say, give responsibilities to the child. My first child is 14. One of his responsibilities in the house is to make sure all doors, including the cars, including the entrances to the house, all lights are out before he goes to bed. Some will say a 14-year-old, but yes, you want responsibilities. Here it is, take it. And dad knows that we're not fighting over this. So when dad makes an error, he corrects dad and is acceptable because that's the responsibility we've given it to him. Thank you very much for that.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much. A big hello, a big welcome to everyone who's just joined us live. Thank you so much for joining. I can see Goz, Arike, and let me see, Yemi, Oluyemi. Thank you, ladies, for joining us now. I hope you're gleaning and learning, a few things from Bukola, who's very passionate about, raising boys to become godly men and also helping fathers, partnering with fathers and even mothers to help them, raise up these teenage boys. Okay. So earlier on, you mentioned that, or I asked the question about, if people have been making comments. What other struggles would you say you've encountered since the day you said, you know what, I am taking the baton and I'm running with it? What other, 1 or 2 or 3 struggles that you've encountered on the journey of trying to manifest your dreams, and what did you do about it? What have you done about those struggles?
Okay. Initially, one of my first struggle was how to go about it, how to launch out there in the public, how to come out open to say this is what God has given me and this is what I want to do about it. I had that struggle, number one. And then I also had a struggle of I think I've mentioned this as I was talking earlier on, the struggle of men, wanting a woman,
Mm.
the side eye look, and
Mm.
people not believing in what you have said God has given you. And I'd say that those are the two major struggles I've had in the recent times. And what have I done about it? The first one is I went out to look for help.
Mm.
I knew God has given this to me. I knew I didn't know how to do it. I know there's one of my nicknames in the academy is now Techie Kiki. I didn't know, there's so many things I didn't know how to do, particularly
Mm.
if I have to come out there in the open. A lot of people know that I love to talk, but I love to talk in my comfort zone. So when
Mm.
I need to come out there in the whole open, when I need to do things that are out of my comfort zone, it was a major issue for me. So what I did was I looked for help. And I was
Mm.
saying to somebody on Saturday night that it got to a time in my life I deliberately looked for help. I deliberately went out to say, okay, this is what I want to do. Who can
Mm.
help me? And
Mm.
yes, and that's where Super Okay Mom Academy came into
Mm.
the picture. I think how did I know about Super Okay Mom Academy? I really cannot answer that question now. But I think one major way is that God connected me to the group. At that point in time,
Mm.
God knew it was time for me to launch out. God had given me the vision. He knew it was time for me to launch out. And it was like Mary saying to Jesus, saying to those men at the wedding, say, go to him, whatever he asks you to do it. And then Jesus saying, it's not my time, but Mary knew it was time. And I think that was what it was with God and myself at that time. God knew it was time, and I've been praying about it. And when the time came, God just said, okay, listen to this. I don't know
Mm.
how that webinar popped up on my Facebook wall that day. I just signed in for it, and God just took me there and connected me to it. And I'd say that as God will have it, I didn't hesitate. I didn't think about it. I just signed up and I went for the same webinar, and here I am today. And the mastermind as well, the mastermind with Detola and a group of other women where we come together, share our visions, and kind of pursue these goals together, give each other the energy to pursue our goals and our dreams together. It's been awesome. It's been phenomenal. And that is where I've also gotten help to answer or to be able to structure my answer when this men
Mm.
come to you. And then, I come back, I said earlier, I come back to say, this is what my question
Yeah.
is. This is what I want to say. What do you say these things? And they kind of go, yes, okay. Yes, Bukola, it's fine. Oh, no, Bukola said it's, and that's the help we kind of provide for each other on the academy. So I'd say that what I did was I identified that I needed help, and I went out to look for the help, and I got the help.
Awesome. 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 Thank you for sharing that. And I think that is one key thing that a lot of us miss out on. When we hear the call, or when we hit the call, we think we can do it all by ourselves. But God didn't make us as islands. He's set out people, to be destiny helpers to us, to propel us along the way. Of course, we're the ones to carry the vision. Just like Moses on that day when there was the battle, he was still the one that had to raise up his hands. But I think it was just Caleb, I can't remember the two men who had to hold his hands up for him. He was still the one, what I always tell the women in the academy and those that work with me is you'll be the one to birth the dream. I'm just here as a midwife to help you, bring out the baby. But you are still, I'm not going to, transfer, I'm not going to put on your dreams. And that's one thing we need to ask God. Direct me to the right people that will help me birth this dream so that it's not aborted, so that it's not, nothing happens to it or it's not tainted. So well done. And, I guess, following that question, tell us some of the tangible results that you've seen since you started Joshua's Army, since you joined the academy, since you did the mastermind and all of that. What are some tangible results that you have seen personally and others have seen?
Thank you very much. Tangible results I've seen so far. When God gave me the vision of Joshua's Army, one of the questions I said to him is, God, I am a woman. I love men, I love boys, but I am a woman. Why are you giving me this vision? And he gave me pictures of, people he kind of like that he has kind of set before me, as I run in the journey. And other than those people he gave me, platforms that he wants Joshua Army to, to run on. And one of those platforms is the family breakfast meeting. And when God gave me the vision of the family breakfast meeting, he told me how it's going to be, how he wants it to be mapped out. And that I would gladly say, with all gratitude to God, that we've had 3 family breakfast meetings now. Yeah, wow. 3 family breakfast meetings since last year.
Wow.
May last year, we had another one in August, and we had another one in March that just went by. And at the March family breakfast meeting, by the grace of God, I also launched a journal for teenage boys, at the last family breakfast meeting. And also the family breakfast meeting, in fact, the feedback was awesome. I was like, wow. And what do we talk about? An everyday topic, love. But it was so amazing how love has been misinterpreted by our children, what they expect love to mean, and even from us parents. But us sitting down together with our children in the room, and us, we came together in the room with our children, we discussed these topics, and we go back home with feedback. Children go with feedback from parents, and parents go with feedback from children. So it's a two-way thing.
Yeah.
And then, so the breakfast meeting runs twice a year. We've done one this year, so that is one that is running. I'm grateful God has established that, and it's running now. And by the grace of God, another thing that God is establishing in Joshua's Army is a retreat for men. I have been to so many retreats, but I can't remember my husband ever going for any retreats. And I'm sure 80% of women will that resonate with 80% of us women. We go for empowerment, we go for retreats, we go for all that, but where do our husbands go to? So God is establishing this retreat. We're actually having the first one in June 2000 this year, and we're having a very big, a great man of God that I respect so much coming in from US to speak at that retreat. His name is Parker, a writer and well, he's writing a play right now, so he's a script writer and a writer, a preacher as well. So Parker is coming in, and Pastor Ayo Daniels is coming in as well from Nigeria. So that retreat is coming up on the 9th of June. So that's another thing God is establishing in Joshua's Army, another platform he has set. That I'm so grateful to God. I was confused on how to let it run. I was confused on what to do. But like I said earlier, the women in the academy were all planning this out together. And the feedback so far has been awesome and amazing. And I just give all the glory back to God. Also, on Joshua's Army platform is the one-to-one sessions I have with boys, and also a group mastermind that I have with boys as well. This has been running for about 6 months now, and from time to time boys graduate and some other ones come in, and it's been awesome how this feedback has been from parents, how what this feedback has been from parents, and how these boys have emerged to be who they want, how they see themselves now. And one thing I took from Jatola as well is the way she celebrates success with the women on the academy, and I have taken to the boys. So when they join in, a boy that signed up with me one-to-one with me 3 weeks ago was saying to me, Kiki, I look forward to our June hangouts. Where are we going to? I said, well, as you're looking forward to the end, you choose where we're going to, but we have a journey that we have to fulfill, so we have something tangible to celebrate. I think this is one thing our boys, they love. We don't know they love it, but they love to be celebrated. So yes, those are the things on ground right now. Tangible results and tangible things on ground right now for Joshua's Army.
Oh my days. Glory to God. When did Joshua's Army start again? Please remind me.
July 2015.
Wow. And you've done all this. Glory to God. And isn't that amazing? How when God gives us a vision and we say yes, the amazing things that come out of it, even you will be like, already, like, wow. And this is only the beginning. There's so much more coming. And I'm even more excited for the boys that, get to have that one-to-one or, that session view. That is just amazing. And also the fathers as well. The retreat sounds exciting. And yes, Parker is coming all the way from the States. That is amazing. Yeah. Nice. Ladies, if you have any questions, Bukola here with us now. So you have any questions pertaining to fathers, boys, even mothers and boys, please ask. because she's only here, we're going to be rounding up soon. So if this is the opportunity to ask, of course, we'll get her contact details. So you can always, link up with her. But if you have any questions you want to ask right now, please go ahead and ask. So you mentioned about a journal. Can you please tell us a bit more about this journal? Do you have a copy to show us?
Yes, I will. Okay, yeah, this is the copy of the journal. I hope we can see it. It's called
Yay.
My Daily Companion, a daily journal for teenage boys. Journal. Wow, I'm so excited about this journal because actually when I set out to write this journal, what I was writing was a devotional for men. And along the line, God just kind of, I have a journal. I have a few journals on me, but this is one journal that's like a part of my life, the Living Hermes journal. And whenever this is my second copy, and whenever I fill this journal, I notice that my boys always. I'm very attached to my boys, because I'm sure we've noticed that now. And they always talk about it. Oh, mom, your journal. Mom, can I read your journal? And I'm like, no, you get something to write on. And at some point, I went online and I was going to look for a specialized journal for my boys, and there was none out there. Amazing, there was not a single one. We have journal, just the regular notebooks and all that, but there was none that could match up, like what they wanted, something like this that was for mom, for them. So I said to them, okay, I'll see what I'll do. I'll put something together for you guys. And I began the journey of putting this journal together. And while I was putting it together, initially I started putting it together solely for my boys. And while I was doing that, because like I said earlier on, I pray for the boys that I work with. And, the questions they were asking me, I was writing them down. And in front of these questions, I'll write the answers. And, that began to form the bulk of the quotes and, things in this journal. And as I was doing that, the Holy Spirit began to open my eyes to the fact that you wanted a journal for your boys. You couldn't find it. How about the other boys out there who needed something like this and can't find it anywhere? And I began to be like, okay, God, that kind of feeling that. So, in obedience to God, I began to write these things down. I began to just kind of design the journal the way I would expect it to be with the help of the Holy Spirit. And when I write, God tells me, no, not that today, this, that. And in the journal, a few things I really like that God gave me to do was a few pages like this on the journal where you have letters to. Here you have letters to God, letters to a hero, letters to myself. Those kind of give the boys the opportunity to express themselves. To themselves. I used to write a lot of letters to God when I was a teenager, and when I put that in this journal, it resonated so very quickly, and I was like, oh God, thank you for reminding me. And now in my own journal, even though Desola, you might have to take this away, even though we don't have letters to God, I've gone back to the habit of writing letters to God because it just helps me in my own way as a child pour out my feelings, exactly the way I feel to God. And that is one of the things this journal is, makes available for boys. Also, gives them the opportunity to dream, to have goals, daily visions, and not just wake up and leave, just get on the street. And I said to my boys, when you wake up in the morning, you don't think of what you want your day to be like. You might not get it spot on right now, but as you becomes clearer, but the training begins from now. So I said to them, I liken it to a guy getting out and start getting into the car, starting the car. You say, where are you up to? Somewhere. How can you start up your car and you're just going somewhere? And this is what this journal helps our boys to do. Start up their day going to somewhere specific and not just somewhere. Thank you.
Oh, wow, amazing. We have a few questions. I'll take them soon. But I just wanted to say, so where can people get the journal from?
Yeah, the journal can be, I've got the link on my page and Joshua's Army hasn't got a group on Facebook here, but we've got a page because we want it to be open to everyone and just walk in through to Joshua's Army page. So I have the link on the page. I also have it on my wall on Facebook as well. And I'm sure after this convo.
Actually, I'll go and find it now. I'm going to find it now and I'm going to put it up so that if you're interested in getting this done, and is it only for teenage boys or can younger boys
Well,
use
it
it?
started off for teenage boys, but a lot of parents are getting it. A friend of mine got one when we launched it for a 6-year-old daughter, and she said,
Okay.
sent a response, a feedback to me to say, "Wow, Ogo will not leave her journal alone. She loves it." And I'm like, "Is she a boy?" Well, she's not a boy, but she's enjoying it. So maybe because of my love and passion for boys, that's why I've said for teenage boys, but everyone can use it because the quote in there that works with everybody. Great leaders learn from everyone. Everyone is a great leader. Another quote is, "You may be standing right next to a great man, so treat the person next to you right." Everybody needs to do that as well. So yes, I think it works for everyone. So forgive me for saying for teenage boys.
Oh, no, at all. I mean, like we always say in the academy, it's good to have like the people you're targeting. And if anyone else, I have a few men that use the journal, and I mean that use the Living Amazed journal. And in my head, I'm like, it's flowery. Why are you using it for? They don't care. They're using it.
Exactly.
So mothers, if you want a journal, it's fun. You were saying something.
Yeah, I said so long as it resonates with them and it answers their question, everyone can use it. Yeah.
Everyone can use it, yeah. So mothers, if you want a journal for yourself, you can get, let me see if you can get the Living Amazed journal, and if you want one for the boys, okay, now I need it to show the journal for the boys now.
Yeah, and that's the one for the boys.
Yeah, if you want that for boys, go get that. See, this is amazing stuff, and that's the thing about replication. The Bible says that when you work with wise, you become wiser. I'm paraphrasing now. So sometimes, things will begin to flow to you from the type of people you're moving with. So kudos to you on launching the journal. Okay, our time is fast spent. I would quickly go to the questions that I have. Someone is asking, do you have a devotion you recommend for toddler boys? So I know you deal with teenage boys, but you might have something for toddler boys. Do you have a devotion you recommend for toddler boys, age 4 upwards? And also, what books can mom read, I think, to help their boys? Yeah. Like the moms don't want to be left out now, so.
Yes, that's awesome. I'll show you a book here. For helping the boys, for mothers, this book is the first. Well, sorry, this might be tending towards teenagers and adolescents as well, but the book is Parenting Today's Adolescents.
Okay, who wrote it?
Dennis and Barbara Rainey.
Okay, I will need to get the link from you and then put it.
Yes, I'll put it up later on. This is one of my first stops when my children began to, get into the age of adolescence. And if you notice, I just pulled it off my study table. It's like my go-to dictionary, I would say now. Most times when I get questions, I'm not able to answer. So that works very well. And then there's this other book by Miles Moron that it says Kingdom Parenting. I love Miles Moron's products, but there's this one that says Kingdom Parenting. I think I've got it somewhere on my bookshelf there. But those are books you could go to as a parent. And then talking about journal, devotionals you could use with your teenage child. Your toddler. That's a big question for me. Because right now my focus is on teenage boys, teenagers. But there is this devotional called my boys. It's called The Revolution. I think it tends more for teenage boys, but you could use it for younger boys as well. I started using this journal for my boys when we started using it since my boys were about age 7. That's when I got this journal, and we still use it this devotional, and we still use it till date. And then if you go on YouVersion, there are loads of devotionals there that you could sign up for. I cannot bring out some, but I can put out some that we still use till date, even though they're for toddlers, particularly the ones that talk about heroes of the Bible. Yeah,
Mm.
that will work very well for toddlers, particularly if you want them to learn about the heroes of the Bible, the men of the Bible, and then
Okay.
I think
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Let me see. I think let me see if they have more questions. Oh, okay. The person that Lara that put the question up says, "I have kingdom parenting." So read it if you haven't, okay? Because I know a lot of us we buy books, but we don't read.
and we
So
don't
I'm
read
gonna
it.
get
Yes,
kingdom parenting. I've written that down.
yes, it's a
So
fabulous one.
okay, awesome. To round up quickly, now we've talked about men and boys. So give us, you can't leave us women out. You need to give us some tips to, tell us what can we do to support our men? What can we support, do to support a healthy relationship between our men and our children, fathers and sons? What role can we play in helping men, not just generally, but in actually helping fathers and sons, communicate and have that healthy relationship?
Okay, I'd say the first step as Christians, we all know, is to pray about it,
Yeah.
particularly when you began to notice some kind of conflicts between them. Do not cease to pray about it. And then I'd say that another step as mothers, which we tend to unconsciously do, is take sides. Do not take sides with anyone or make excuses. I have learned over time, we also, like everyone out there, is on a journey. And
Yeah.
I've learned over time not to make excuse for my husband when it comes to raising his boys. Do not make excuses for him. Do not condemn him. He's got his own challenges, even though he might not pay attention to them. Do not make excuses for the man. Do not take sides with anyone. And then, as much as possible, create common grounds. Common ground, I would say. For instance, in my home, we have what we've called a family board meeting that we hold regularly. As much
Sorry,
as
say that again. A family what?
a family board meeting
Okay.
that we hold regularly, and my boys and their dad and everybody is a part of it, and we hold it with all seriousness to say that we are all board members, we are all stakeholders in this organization. We're holding the meeting, and everybody's view matters, and in that meeting we listen. Trust me, there is the tendency that dad might want to get angry and leave the meeting, but over time it will work if you're consistent with it, if you're persistent and you keep going. So that is one help I would say. So, and then if you've tried all this and you feel it's still not working, seek help.
Okay.
There's help out there for everything. Seek help.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Bolanle is saying, when is this ending? Need to run home to watch. Don't worry, the replay is going to be available on the Facebook page, so you can watch the replay again at your own time. You can watch it as many times as you want. So yeah, the replay will be available as soon as we are done. Wow, it's already 1:21. This has been amazing. I have learned a few things, and how to support my husband in raising our son, because I've got a 3-year-old who will be 4 soon, and well, he's he's not
an
here
amazing
today.
boy.
Yes, he tends to walk in on, he's like a regular partner when it comes to Facebook Life. Okay, so quickly, how can people find out more about you? And you told us where they can get the journal. How can they find more about you and about the retreat? Because I'm sure some of the women here would like to get their husbands to come for the retreat, or would like to gift their husbands, to attend the retreat. So how can we find out more about the retreat? Do you have any offers for super working mom women? I'm prompting you now. And how else, if people want to connect with you, how can they do that? Yeah.
Yes, thank you for that question, Detola. The retreat, well, how can you find out more about the retreat? There are, I'll probably send the link to Detola again so we could add it on to this replay later on. But there are stuffs you could read up on my Facebook wall or the page as well. The retreat, I said, is coming up on the 9th of June to the 11th of June, and it's taking place in Swindon. And there is a commitment to that. There is an investment to that, obviously. So, but for Super Okay Mom, as it has prompted me now, for the Super Okay Mom Academy, we gave some 10% discounts. So for the bigger house, I'll talk about to the committee members, and if you're able to register before the second week in April, that's before the Easter weekend, we'll probably be able to do another 10% for the Super Working Mom mothers. But that I would give to Datola so she could update on the wall. Also,
Okay.
I just want to say that Father's Day is coming up. So this is a good gift to give to your father. To give to the men in your life. Trust me, it's a good investment to make, and you will definitely come back to reap it, because they're coming back a better person. How can you reach me? Like I said, I've got a Facebook page, which is Joshua's Army, just Joshua's Army on Facebook. And we're also on Instagram, Joshua's Army, as well as same thing on Twitter. But for Twitter and Instagram, the Army now is IE rather than Y on Twitter and on Instagram, but on Facebook is just Joshua's Army. And then I've got a website as well, which I'll put up the information later on as well, Joshua's Army at WordPress.com for now. And yeah, joshuasarmy.co.uk as well. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm also always on Super Okay Mom page for questions. I know I'm always there.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. Thank you so much for sharing your passion and your dreams. And thank you most especially for taking that step of faith and not, allowing fear to stop you from doing what you're doing now. Because imagine if you were not doing this, imagine what would have happened. Maybe God would have given it to someone else, and you would not have felt, you won't have felt fulfilled. Or again, we'll be in that cycle where nobody's talking to the boy. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking that step of faith to do what God has called you to do. So any last words of wisdom you want to share, or any advice you want to give to someone who's, who has a big dream, but they don't know what to do? Any words of wisdom that you want to, give before we round up?
Yeah, I'd just like to say finally that if you're out there and you think you don't have anything, there's nothing, you don't know what to do, or you don't have any vision or any big dream or any of this we've been talking about, trust me, there's something in everybody, and that which God has deposited in you is waiting to be launched out. God is counting on you, and you want to go back to God empty. You don't want to go back to God with this that He has put in you to bless somebody with. And again, I'll say that a lot of us, we know, but we're struggling with the how. I'll say confidently that with the Super Okay Mom Academy, the how is available. Super Okay Mom Academy is blessed with women from various backgrounds. Mention it, talk about it. The women in business, women in the marketplace, in the offices, career women, and that platform just provides the help we all need per time when we're struggling. And also I've been opportune to have some one-to-one sessions with Datola, where it's just Datola and I, and even the mastermind. The one-to-one session gave me, first of all, the opportunity to launch out confidently. I think that was my first step. Yeah, after the academy, which was the general one, the one-to-one sessions. And I just love the one-to-one sessions because of the way it's just two of us, and then the way we're able to pour it out the way it is. Sometimes we come in our PJs and we just talk into midnight. Datola will tell you you have a specific time, but trust me, she's passionate about what she does, and she just goes on, and sometimes like, there's work tomorrow, good night. But that just means that God has given her this, and God has empowered her to do this. God has empowered her to empower other women, and I'm one of the people who have benefited from this. And then there is a mastermind as well, where there's just a few of us, like you're in the classroom, and there are a few of you there, and the teacher concentrates on you. So while you're pursuing your dream, you're using your ability to help others and taking as well from their ability. So all those platforms are what has helped me and a great deal of women out there that are launching out. And I'd say that you want to join us,
Yeah.
we're all open. Now is the time.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that and your experience. And this is, the one thing that I like about the women in the academy, the women on the mastermind, the one-to-ones, is there's evident results. So it's not a case of fluff and then you're still in the same, you're still where you were when you join. No, and that is all glory to God. There's always a tangible difference. Even in your own personal lives, husbands have come back to say, my wife is different. Children have come to say, my mom is different. And then there are all these things that you're manifesting. And, like I said, I give all glory to God. I'm just a vessel that he's using. So for anyone out there who's, at a point where God has given you big dreams, or you're not even sure what these big dreams are, I would like to talk to you. Send me a message. Go to our website, superworkingmom.com, same word as it is. And let's talk, okay? I would like to help you. So again, Bukola, thank you so much for your time today. I'm honored and privileged that you're a part of the academy, and I'm excited to see what God is actually doing in your life. It is just amazing. And like I said, 2017 and all of this has happened. And I know there's more coming. Yeah, there's more coming. What else is coming up? Tell us quickly.
Okay. What else? You said 2015. I think it actually started 2016 July.
Oh, so yes, oh wow. That's not like less than a year. Okay.
Yes. I joined the academy March 2015. 2016. Okay, yes, so I'm just about a year there now. Wow. So yeah. So this started 3 months after I joined the academy. Yes. So yeah, yes. What is coming on in the pipeline? Like I said earlier on, the retreat is coming up. By God's grace, next year, August, Joshua Lamy is starting up a leadership boot camp for the boys. I'm so excited about it. And trust me, this boot camp is not about Bukola. It's about men and men that are achieving and are specialists in the area of training children. Coming together. It's going to be a week-long intensive school for the boys, and it's going to be an annual thing for them. So it's like, take it, if you send your boy there, you're sending your boy to a leadership school, and the boy is coming back. Wow. Leader. So when you send your boy, be ready to receive a leader who is ready to launch out. And don't be surprised, even if as a teenage, this age, the boys will begin to, do things that we never thought of as a result of the attendance of that leadership school. It's one thing God has been preparing for the past 2 years, and he has given us the date, and we're ready to launch out. Just like he gave me the date for the retreat some 2 years ago. Time. Now the retreat is coming up, and then, like I said earlier on, the breakfast meeting takes place in March and in October. It's usually the half-term Saturdays in March. Okay. I mean, in February and in October, we actually have to move it. So, yeah, the next one is in October, the half-term Saturday in October. The date will be out.
God is saying she has nephew. Well, some of us that have, I should wait for Prof J.
Before you know it, it will be there.
And before you know it, the good thing about he still being young is by the time he's now a teenager, you would have refined
everything.
More, excellent and everything. And I can just imagine refine upon refine. So by the time Prof J comes, after 1 week, I have a leader back.
Then you see a true professor in him.
I know, right? I know. So glory to God again. Thank you again for your time. And thank you, ladies, for hanging in with us, for spending your lunchtime with us. I hope you learned something from this. I hope if you didn't learn anything about boys and fathers, I hope you learned about manifesting dreams, about taking that leap of faith, about not being scared, to be who God has called you to be. So again, we're here to help. If you need help, if you need to talk, just, either leave a message on this group, send me a personal message, or go to our website, www.superworkingmom.com, to see the things that we provide. So he said, yes, she has another 11 years before they can attend. And by then, I'm sure, I can already see the boot camping in different countries, Nigeria, States, UK, different, places in the UK, I can just see it. So glory to God. So yes, all the ladies are saying thank you. Thank you so much for, sharing your heart with us. Again, we can see your passion. In fact, it's like I'm hugging that passion. I want more of that. So thank you, everyone. And we're going to round up. For those who are listening to the replay, please look at all the links that I put up. We're going to be adding the links to where you can contact Bukola. I think I have put up the link to the retreat, the journal. I've gone to find them. I've put them all up. So get the journal for your children, get the journal for your nephews, get the journal for godsons and all of that. And if you know any man, your husbands that need to be at the retreat, please sign up. Spaces are going. This is the first one. Spaces are going. Spaces are limited. We'll try and, like I said, we'll try and hook up an offer for the wider group. I know there is one for the academy ladies, but don't worry, I got you, ladies. I'm going to talk to Bukola to get us, another 10% for the wider audience. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next Super Ultimum Convos. God bless you. Bye-bye. Let's see if there are any more questions. Everyone's just saying thank you. Hi, Pamela. Thanks for joining. Please watch the replay. Bukola has shared so much that you don't want to miss. So as soon as we finish, the replay is going to be up. Please go ahead and watch it. Toyin, you're welcome. Temi, you're welcome. Mudupe, you're welcome. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I'm going to end the podcast. Okay. And